Clusters are a new organizational dimension that FormBoxx automatically provides without disrupting the native folder structure you put in. Think of clusters as stacks of the same forms. In a medical office, for example, one cluster might represent the intake documents. Another might include all examples of a visit history form, and so on across all patients. In an accounting or back office setting, one cluster might be all the copies of invoices sent to all customers. Another cluster might be purchase orders from the same company, even though the folders were uploaded by month. As you will see, clusters bring a new way of thinking to search and filtering, and become even more powerful in data extraction. In this tutorial, we'll start by logging in using our email and password, and then clicking the Login button. We'll use the Healthcare Forms cluster since it's already built and ready to go. We're now on the Healthcare Example homepage, and we've uploaded files and browsed documents in previous tutorials. We're now going to dive deeper into the clusters, which are the real strength of FormBoxx. You can get to the clusters from the drop-down on the menu, or you can click directly on the home page. This brings you to the cluster page, which represent the clusters across all of your directories. FormBoxx finds like pages and places them in clusters and identifies them with a simple identification as cluster followed by a unique number. In addition, the number of pages in a particular cluster is shown in the parentheses. You can go in and very easily name the clusters as shown, for example, the medication log. After you have identified a cluster of interest by looking at the thumbnails, you can go ahead and open that cluster up in a very simple operation, just clicking directly on the thumbnail image. This brings you to the cluster page. As you can see, the cluster 13 represents the intake form from the General Hospital, and it shows that there are 8 examples in that cluster. If we wanted to edit information about that intake form cluster, we could by clicking on Edit. And a good thing to do actually is to supply information about the form. We'll head back to the main cluster page and look at a different way to find the cluster of interest. In this case, we'll actually use text search to find only those clusters that contain smallpox, for example. This is done by typing in a text query and then submitting that query. As you can see, it brought back one cluster, cluster 19, which contains 4 pages. If we go ahead and open that up, we see that this cluster 19 does have 4 examples, and it is an immunization record and includes information about smallpox vaccine. On the left, we've identified fields that would be useful for data extraction, and we'll go over that in the data extraction tutorials. As you get used to using clusters, you'll find that it's a very powerful way to aggregate forms that are the same across all those directories. We find it extremely useful for indexing, and one can think of it for all kinds of applications, from finding invoices across months or dates to finding specific forms across different patient folders. It really is what gives FormBoxx its unique capability to organize your documents in a way that makes